Next question. I am an INFP type 4 on the Enneagram. I often struggle with feeling of shame, fear, anxiety, hopelessness, like I'm not really special or significant in any way. These feelings can be very intense. How can I become a more healthy type 4? Okay, so couple of things here. First of all, as a type 4, you have a kind of a specific experience in life where, you know, you need validation, that you need your authenticity or your authentic experience or expression of who you are validated so that you can feel like you belong. Now, world generally does not revolve around authenticity or authentic expression of anything. It can be very difficult to find people who are willing to do that validation for you because they themselves are feeling things like shame and fear and anxiety and hopelessness. And because people don't want to talk about those things up front, then it makes you feel like you're the only one who's suffering from these things. What I'd like you to get, I think if there's only one thing that I'd like you to get, I'd like to put across from this video is that everybody struggles with these things just to different degrees. And because you are an INFP, you're highly intuitive, you're highly perceptive, you're highly emotionally engaged, engaged in the world. And you're a type 4, which is all about being an individual. You are very likely to feel these feelings on a much deeper level than anybody else that you probably know. So I just want to validate that your struggle is real. Now, you were asking about how to become more healthy type 4. I think this actually works for both type 4 and for INFP. It's a very similar thing, which is find an expression of your authentic self that doesn't require the validation of anybody else. So paint, sing, and record yourself just for you. Write just for you. You don't have to share these things with people initially. And then once you find your groove, you find your way of expressing yourself, you've done it a couple of times for yourself, find a person whom you trust and respect and ask them if you can share something that's really important to you and that you're not ready to receive negative feedback or criticism for it, but you'd like to just share your work and witness your work being shared in a safe environment, and ask them if they're up for doing that. And if they are, then go ahead and do that. And if they start criticizing you, you can just say, hey, I'm not actually open for criticism at this time. I'm not really open for constructive feedback at this time. I just want to do this exercise so that I can share this with you and witness me sharing something with you and it not being a terrifying situation. So what happens with that is that you start to reduce your shame, you start to reduce your fear, you start to reduce your anxiety, you even start to reduce your sense of hopelessness and like you're not special or significant, because now you're creating these situations where you get to be significant, where somebody gets to look at your piece of art and just say, thank you for sharing that with me. That's going to start validating those parts of you in a constructive way that can really help you overcome the fear that you're not significant, because you are significant, you just don't realize it at this time. So consciously starting to build those situations and those relationships where you can in fact start to feel significant, that is very healing. That's a very healing path. And I really recommend that for every INFP, also for INFJs, but definitely for every type 4 out there. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Thank you so much for asking that question. That's a great question.